Welcome everyone to Lemon Live at 5, the Don Lemon Show. Hey, you guys know I'm happy that you're here. As I say every single time, make sure you hit the like and the thumbs up. It affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our conversation. Become a member. And also make sure you subscribe as well, okay? So we're glad that you're in here today, and a lot to talk about. Really a lot to talk about, especially on a Friday. I'm shocked that there's so much. So there's a lot of breaking news happening, okay? And then we're going to get to some of the things that happened earlier in this week, get a Hollywood, since I am in California, in Los Angeles. We're going to get a Hollywood eyes view of what's going on, some of the stories that made headlines this week. So good evening, Lemonation. Welcome to Lemon Live at 5. We are tracking major legal developments this evening. 2 court rulings that have delivered, actually 3, that have delivered a serious blow to the Trump administration's hardline agenda, or MAGA's hardline agenda in general. First, there was a federal judge that's ordered the release of Mahmoud Khalil, finding that his detention may have been an unconstitutional act of retaliation for protected political speech. It is a stark rebuke, one that raises urgent questions about the use of immigration enforcement as a political weapon. The Trump administration using free speech as a political weapon, or immigration enforcement as a political weapon. Then in a separate decision, the courts ruled that the Trump administration cannot block Harvard University from enrolling international students. Remember that? They tried to block them, said they were going to take away their funding, etc. Well, the judge said no. A federal judge said no to that one. This is a win for academic freedom, a blow to the White House's escalating anti-immigrant rhetoric. And the other one has to do with the 10 Commandments in school in Louisiana. A judge blocked that as well. So we'll see what happens. So joining us to unpack all of these rulings and what it might mean for civil liberties going forward is human rights lawyer and advocate Qasim Rashid. Thank you, sir, for joining. How are you today?
I'm managing, Don. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Managing is that is a perfect way of putting it. I'm managing. So let's put this up. This is a New York Times article on Mahmoud Khalil, and we know that this has been something of, really a big headline, a big story here in the United States. Mahmoud Khalil must be released on bail. Federal judge orders, says Mr. Khalil, Columbia University graduate, and legal permanent resident, has been held in Louisiana for over 3 months. A judge found reason to believe it was retaliation for his pro-Palestinian speech. What do you say to that?
Completely accurate. And I think the only disgrace is that it's taken this long for what's been obvious to all of us. It's taken this long for the court system to process this, right? We're guaranteed a speedy trial. In this case, he missed his graduation. More importantly, he missed the birth of his son. He missed time from family that he can never get back. We often hear from the MAGA right that we don't mind immigration, just come here legally and don't commit crimes. Well, he did come here legally. He has a green card. He's married to a U.S. citizen. He's getting education. He exercises free speech. He has no criminal record whatsoever, none. Like not even so much as a minor, speeding ticket or reckless speeding ticket. He did everything by the book. But because he committed the one crime of being critical of Donald J. Trump, they threw him in this gulag in Louisiana. And so I'm celebrating today. And I was also pleased to see that despite the government's lawyers asking for another 7 days to make their case against Mahmoud Khalil, the federal judge said, nope, you've had your chance. You've shown nothing. He's not a flight risk. I'm going to let him out. And he's ordered his release today. So I hope that happens as soon as possible.
I don't usually correct people, especially attorneys on this show, but I think you'll understand. When you said he committed the only crime, I say perceived crime because it's not a crime. Right. I know what you were saying. Yeah. That is not a real crime, but it's a crime in the eyes of the administration. Let me just show you what happened. All right. We have a couple of different videos of his arrest. One is a video and it looks like security video. And this is leading up to his arrest. You can see him in the hall and see them approaching. We can put that up as we are talking here. So he's in a hall. They're approaching him. I guess they're trying to figure out exactly, this is the moments leading up to his arrest. All right. And they come up to him and his wife happens to be with him. And this is at the very beginning when this all started, pretty much close to the beginning. And everyone's wondering what the hell is going on here? Why is this happening? Why are they running up on people? And then I want to show you a video of the arrest that outraged a lot of people really around the world, especially those paying close attention and those who believe in free speech. Here it is.
Going to be under arrest. So turn around.
Okay,
Stop
let's
resisting.
not.
Stop resisting.
Okay, he's not resisting. He's giving me his phone. Okay, he's not. I understand. He's not resisting.
Put your arm
Like,
There's no need for this. Don't worry about it. You're going to have to come with us. Don't worry. I'm coming with you. Don't worry.
No one's resisting. No one's getting worked up.
you guys really don't need to be doing all of that.
That's it. It's fine. It's fine.
حبيبي كيف بدي اتصل فيك؟
Take Amy. Call Amy.
Okay. Hi, Amy. Yeah, they just like handcuffed him and took him. I don't know what to do. Okay. And what should I do? I don't know. Nor. Let me ask. Can we get a name, please? Of can we get your name? I understand the lawyer is asking for your name.
Go over there. No, we don't give our name.
The lawyer's asking for your name. He's saying they don't give their names.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They'll be taken to immigration custody at 26 Federal Plaza.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
They'll be taken to immigration custody at 26 Federal Plaza.
She said they're taking him to 26 Federal Plaza. Can you please specify what agency is taking him, please? Excuse me. They're not talking to me. I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me. The lawyer would like to speak to somebody. Oh my God, they're literally like running away from me.
Awesome. And for what? This poor woman did not have to go through this. Obviously, he didn't. And all for what? Why this treatment?
The lawyer would like
This
to
is a
speak to
classic
somebody.
strongman intimidation tactic
Excuse
that you
me.
see in aspiring autocrats
lawyer
and
would like to
autocratic
speak to
regimes. They knew they have nothing on him. They haven't been able to produce a single piece of evidence of any criminality. Everything from the accusations of violence against Jewish people, completely ignored the fact that Jewish people stood with him in solidarity for justice for Palestine. No evidence that he violated immigration law, no evidence that he committed any crime whatsoever, none. The goal of this, and I think it's important that your viewers note this key point, the goal of this was not just to go after Mahmoud Khalil. It's a message to everyone else that if you dare speak up and criticize us, this is what's going to happen to you next. This is the chilling effect that autocratic regimes engage in to make an example out of one person. And fortunately, our courts are functioning enough to the point that they let the Trump regime know that this is not acceptable. But that is why they put his poor wife through this torture, and why they've had to suffer these last three to 4 months.
Don, you're muted.
Thank you. Let me put this up. This is what Judge Michael E. Fabarias says of the Federal District Court in Newark, said during a 2-hour hearing that he had been persuaded by Mr. Khalil's arguments that his detention was an unlawful retaliation against his pro-Palestinian speech, right? So this is a freedom of speech case, they're saying. I would imagine, you tell me. There's at least something to the underlying claim, this is a quote, there's at least something to the underlying claim that there is an effort to use the immigration charge here to punish Mr. Khalil, he said. And of course, that would be unconstitutional.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can read extensive case law from district, circuit, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings on free speech, and they're all consistent in saying that when the government is restricting speech, that is when First Amendment protections are at their zenith. That's when they're at their highest, and the government has a massive hurdle to overcome to prove that this particular speech is actually dangerous to public, and is a really deep standard that they have to fulfill to show that there was imminent harm, that this was akin to yelling fire in a crowded theater. It was akin to making a bomb threat or some kind of threat of terrorist attack. If Mahmoud Khalil had done any of that, all of that would have been shown in all the courts. It would have been plastered on the front pages of every single media outlet. But the fact that 100 days after his detention, thereabouts, they can't provide a single shred of evidence should be clear evidence that this is, in fact, intimidation of his pro-Palestinian free speech. And again, the point of free speech, John, is that it's not just the speech you agree with. It's even the speech that you disagree with. Plenty of folks say stuff that I disagree with.
More so for that, don't you think? It's more for a speech that you disagree with.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So listen, okay, so the judge ordered them to release him.
Yeah.
You said that they wanted 10-day extension. You know, this is like their thing, 2 weeks to whatever he does.
Yeah.
And he said no. So then they have to comply now, will they? Because they had been defying federal judges.
They have to comply now. Yeah, they have to comply. We saw with Kilmar Abrego Garcia how long they delayed compliance with the Supreme Court's 9-0 ruling. I wouldn't be surprised if the Trump regime tries to appeal this to the Supreme Court, although I think that would probably be a losing case, even with this right-wing Supreme Court. So they do have to comply now. And this is the constitutional crisis that we're kind of ongoing facing, in that the court has ruled, and we have separation of powers. They're equal power separation. Once the court rules, you have to comply. But if he doesn't comply, who holds him accountable? His hand-picked AG, who's also complicit in telling ICE that they can raid people, their homes without a warrant, without due process of law. And so that's kind of the issue that we face right now. So I'm hopeful that the pressure is put on. I will give credit. I can't remember the federal judge's name, but what one judge did was when people were being deported to Sudan, of all places, contrary to a court order, the judge communicated to the pilot of that plane that if you comply with this illegal order and don't bring them back according to my order, you will be held in contempt of court. And that pilot turned that plane around right away. And so hopefully there are people who are willing to listen to this federal judge and release Mahmoud Khalil and let him be back with his family, his wife, and their infant child as soon as possible.
Also, so let's talk about this, and because let's hear from the wife, because the wife spoke out not long ago, and then we'll go on to talk about what's going on with Harvard University.
Was taken away from me in the middle of the night. It was one of the most terrifying times of my life. I don't think I've ever experienced anything scarier than that.
They awaited the birth of their first child.
I was so excited, like we were setting everything up for like the nursery and his clothes, and Mahmoud was so excited too. Like,
Turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around.
Okay,
Stop
let's
resisting,
not.
stop resisting.
Okay. He was like, "Are you Mahmoud Khalil?" Mahmoud said yes, and the man said, "We're with the police. You have to come with us."
What's going through your mind at that point?
I was scared. I was terrified. Yeah, they just like handcuffed him and took him. I don't know what to do.
Abdullah used her phone to document what happened next.
At this point, Mahmoud was like, "Go take the keys, grab my green card." He thought maybe like if he shows the green card, we'll be fine.
Did you think that if you showed the fact that your husband was a legal resident with a green card, that he'd be okay?
Mm-hmm. Because I was like, this is just a misunderstanding. They're going to take him away. They're going to take him to 26 Federal Plaza, see that he has a green card. He'll be home in a few hours. Excuse me. They're not talking to me. I don't know. Excuse me. The lawyer would like to speak to somebody. Oh my God, they're literally like running away from me.
She has not seen her husband since. You also know that the press secretary said that your husband circulated pro-Hamas flyers. Did he?
That's not true.
Is Mahmoud pro-Hamas?
These are accusations that the Trump administration keeps pushing on him.
But what do you say to those?
I think it's ridiculous.
Okay, so here's the thing. Look, we all know Hamas. No one, is saying that Hamas is great or whatever. But can you do that? I mean, there are people. The guys in Charlottesville were pro-racist. They were anti-Semites. They were neo-Nazis. What? I mean,
but Don, those are very fine people, from what I heard. I mean, that's the problem that we're facing here. That even if he was pro-Hamas, which he's clearly not, free speech protects even vile speech. And that's kind of the whole point, that notwithstanding that he is pro-justice, pro-peace, and anti-violence, to try to muddle that up and to say, well, that's the excuse or that's the reason why is also deeply problematic, because at the end of the day, the whole point of free speech is to demonstrate that we live in a country where people can have differences of views, differences of opinions. And, you have white supremacist organizations like the KKK that have killed more than 5,000 Black people, just documented, by the way. The actual number is far higher than that. And the KKK is not a banned terrorist organization in the United States. Neo-Nazis are able to march in the streets in 2025 America without any restriction whatsoever. And that's considered a protection of their free speech. And so it is beyond the height of hypocrisy and double standards for them to, one, falsely make this accusation against Mahmoud Khalil, and then assume, even if it was true, that it would have any merit whatsoever. It simply does not.
Let's talk about the other story that I want to discuss with you. And look, hopefully we're going to be following this to see if they indeed, the Trump administration, if they comply with this federal judge. But let's talk about now that in a separate decision, the courts ruled that the Trump administration cannot block Harvard University from enrolling international students, a win for academic freedom. As I said earlier, a blow to the White House's escalating anti-immigrant rhetoric. So now they can't block. Harvard did fight back. Columbia did not, right? Columbia did not hold its ground. Harvard has been holding its ground. Can you please put that back up for me? Because this is what the judge said. Federal judge blocks Trump's effort to keep Harvard from hosting foreign students. The university called it illegal retaliation for rejecting the White House's demands to overhaul Harvard's policies around campus protests, admissions, hiring, and other issues. Basically, they also wanted them to spy or give away, information to the students about their whereabouts, social media, et cetera. And Harvard's like, not going to do it. So what do you think of this ruling?
No, I think this is a good step. And I'm so glad you brought that point up, Don, that Columbia did not fight. They capitulated. And despite that, they were stripped of another $400 million in potential federal funding. And now they're groveling before Trump to get that money back. Harvard, I have many problems with Harvard. And I say this as somebody who did a fellowship at Harvard University. But on this, I give them credit where due. They fought back. They recognize that this is 27% of our student body. This is more than 7,000 scholars globally who are relying on this education, relying on this promise, this American dream promise to get higher education and to provide, access to education, to medicine, to engineering, to science, technology, things that, you develop at Harvard to be a global leader. And to throw all those people into a whirlwind because one person arbitrarily wants to make a decision that's unconstitutional makes no sense. And the thing about Harvard is they've got like a $52 billion endowment. I mean, they have no shortage of money. If there's any organization that should go toe-to-toe with someone like Donald Trump, it is Harvard University. So I commend them on this, on fighting relentlessly, on going after this aggressively. And I hope they continue to keep their foot on the accelerator to ensure that not just Harvard, but other universities are also protected by establishing good precedent that a sitting U.S. president cannot, under any capacity, arbitrarily ban which students are accepted or rejected from a university.
Well, for me, it's look, Harvard has the endowment and, it's got the money. Some universities may not want to do this. I mean, Columbia, you would think, had a big endowment as well. But this is not only just a win for Harvard, I would think. This is a win probably for universities, institutions of higher learning across the country.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And by the way, Columbia has a $15 billion endowment as well. So by no means chump change. And that's exactly right. And I think there's two things to think about here. One, we don't really know the damage done by this suspension for a month on international students. We're already seeing a brain drain. There already are professors and scholars from Yale University moving to Canada because they fear for their own safety. Professors who study the history of fascism and are seeing the warning signs and are getting the heck out of Dodge. So we don't know the harm that's already been done by scholars from other countries saying, we're just not going to go to the United States anymore. We're not going to contribute to them. And when you look at the number of Fortune 500 companies, nearly half of them are either founded by an immigrant or the child of an immigrant. So it is devastating to our economic and global prosperity by banning immigrants, one. But two, to your really important point, Don, this does set a good precedent for other universities to know that now they can point to a federal court ruling to back up what they're doing. Harvard has been the tip of the spear on this one. And I commend them for it. And now other universities can ride that wave and say, no, we will not capitulate. We will not comply with your absurd admissions restrictions or your DEI requirements or your admissions requirements. We will continue to function on justice and merit the way academia is supposed to be all this time.
One more thing. This one has to do with academia, but it's not higher learning. This is in Louisiana. Court blocks Louisiana law requiring schools to post 10 commandments in classrooms. A panel of 3 federal appellate judges has ruled that a Louisiana law requiring the 10 commandments to be posted in each of the state's public classrooms is unconstitutional. This ruling came on Friday. It marked a major win for civil liberties groups who say the mandate violates the separation of church and state, and that the poster size displays would isolate students, especially those who are not Christian. Okay, so there we go. A win at least for the separation of church and state here. And I think a win for the Constitution. This one seemed pretty simple to me, but under the Trump administration, who knows where they're going to go. But apparently this group of appellate federal judges has said, no.
Thankfully. And, Louisiana ranks 46th in education. So my recommendation to the Louisiana State Legislature is maybe invest more money in actual education, not on trying to indoctrinate children. Look, I say this as a person who believes in the 10 Commandments, who teaches my children the 10 Commandments. I don't want that in public schools. I want our children to learn, math and science and biology and technology and history. And if they want to learn that on their own, by all means, allow that. I also offered as a Muslim to teach kids azan in the public school, the Islamic call to prayer. But for some reason, that wasn't very popular. I can't imagine why. But This is why we need to have separation of religion and state. It's not just freedom of religion, it's also freedom from religion. That's what this country was founded on, and we need to maintain that principle.
Hey, real quickly, I didn't plan on talking to you about this, but you're the perfect person. I don't know, did you see the interview between Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz?
I've seen significant parts of it. I haven't finished watching all of it, but I saw significant parts of it, yes.
A bit of a paraphrase, not an exact quote here, but basically Ted Cruz says he ran and came to Congress, or went to Congress with the express mission to support Israel. And then he said there that it was, what did he say? The Bible, you have to support Israel because the Bible commands him to.
Right.
How's that for the separation of church and state? We're not a theocracy, are we?
Right. It's nonsensical. I mean, could you imagine if a Hindu candidate ran and said, well, my scripture says to protect India, and that's why I'm running for U.S. Senate? Or a Muslim said, well, my scripture says to protect Arabia, that's why I'm running for president. It just doesn't make any sense. And so for Ted Cruz to make this really bizarre, nonsensical claim that has no rhyme or reason, I can't believe I'm saying this, but kudos to Tucker for taking him to task that you're a U.S. senator, you're not an Israeli senator. You should be putting, the irony of these MAGA folks is they scream about America first, but then they brag about another country first. So which is it? They don't really have a moral compass. It's kind of whatever they think will keep them in power. And that's kind of the problem right now.
Happy Friday to you. Have a great weekend, customer. We really appreciate you joining us here. And thanks to our friend Jolly, who put us in touch with you. And we're going to hear from the Jolly Good Ginger in just minutes here on the Don Lemon Show. So thank you very much for helping us out with this. A lot of breaking news. This is a bunch of L's for the Trump administration and for MAGA. Am I wrong?
It is, and we need to continue them. And this is what I tell folks, that while it seems like a lot of bad things are happening, and they are, we got to celebrate these wins, and we got to keep the pressure on, because we have not lost the courts yet. We've had some losses, but we can continue to put the pressure on members of Congress, petition the courts, because this is what our Constitution protects, and we should take advantage of it.
Thank you, sir. Be well.
Thank you. Take care.
Soon. Yeah, that was Qasim Rashid. Yeah, really, really, really good stuff. We're going to hear from our West Coast correspondent, Tracy Jacobs, in just a moment. Also, our chief congressional correspondent, our chief Washington correspondent, the Jolly Good Ginger. We're going to go over what is going on with MAGA. And it seems like we are through the looking glass, or upside down, whatever cliche you want to say, when we find ourselves agreeing with some of MAGA's biggest defenders. But first, I want to get a break from our sponsors. Support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from Shopify. The origins of this program, just a dream for me once, and now you're watching that dream come to fruition right now. A lot of us have a dream about owning a business, becoming our own boss. We have that entrepreneurial spirit, but too many of us let it remain just a dream. So do not hold yourself back thinking, well, what if I don't have the skills? What if I can't do it alone? Turn those what ifs into why nots with Shopify by your side. I love that. Shopify is the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names to brands just getting started. That is Shopify. They can help everyone who's in business. As a matter of fact, our e-commerce store, the Don Lemon Show merch store, go check it out. It's on our webpage. It's also on our show page here on YouTube. You can get merch from a Shopify platform right here on the Don Lemon Show. And you can see how that platform works. So listen, it can help you out with web design. It can give you email strategies. It can give you social media strategy. It has all kinds of AI tools that can help you create whatever it is that you want to do. So 24-hour, 24/7 award-winning customer service. Turn your dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon. Go to shopify.com/lemon. Just checking, see if you guys are paying attention back there. Also, support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from MSI United States. Here's a hard, cold fact for you. In sub-Saharan Africa, 4 million teenage girls drop out of school every single year because they get pregnant. Just like teenagers elsewhere, everywhere, they experiment sexually. That's nothing new. It happens everywhere. For many of these girls, there's no access to birth control, but most will never go back to school. Some will risk their lives trying to end the pregnancy. Too many will die. Well, the good news is there is an organization called MSI Reproductive Choices that's known for going to the ends of the earth to bring girls contraception and control over their futures. Okay, so what can you do? You can make a donation. So give today. Go to msiunitedstates.org or text my last name Lemon to 511-511. Text Lemon to 511-511 for just $26. You can give a girl contraception for 4 years. That's 4 years to complete her education and build a future. Okay, so text Lemon to 511-511 or go to MSI, that's M as in modern, S as in safe, I as in informed, unitedstates.org. That's msiunitedstates.org. Modern, safe, informed. msiunitedstates.org. Okay. Thank you to our sponsors today. Okay. So let's continue what's going on here on the Don Lemon Show and going on in the world. So I just kind of want to give you guys a taste of what we have been dealing with over the past couple of days, with MAGA really turning on itself, or turning on Donald Trump, I should say. And some of the people you would never expect to turn on Donald Trump are doing it, like Tucker Carlson. This is just a mashup of what Tucker Carlson did in an interview with Ted Cruz and what he is really saying about the administration, that the administration has it wrong as it relates to Iran and that they don't have their shit together. Here it is.
Just called me, I think, a sleazy feline. So let's be clear.
It's sleazy to imply that I'm an anti-Semite, and shame on you for suggesting otherwise, and I mean that.
By the way, Tucker, it's a very weird thing. The obsession with Israel.
I'm not terrified of AIPAC at all. You're the one who seems a little uncomfortable when I'm asking.
No,
this.
Not uncomfortable at all. I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible.
Where's that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my...
So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused.
What is true is Iran is trying to assassinate Donald J. Trump. We have not apprehended an Iranian hitman trying to kill him. We know that Iran is trying to do so.
In the United States?
Yes. And by the way, like Iran...
This just seems like a huge headline and you're acting like everyone knows this. I didn't know that. Shouldn't the U.S. military defend its own president? I don't understand that.
And it goes back to...
Because you don't really believe it's true, that's why.
Everyone... Kate, nobody disputes it, Tucker. Did you also... Did we land on the moon? What other conspiracies do you not believe? Was 9/11 an inside job? And you do your, like, trademark smirky laugh. I know why you don't care.
What are you even talking about? This is one of the weirdest conversations I've ever had. Shouldn't you apologize?
No, you should apologize. I'm not going to engage in the demanding of apologizing.
I've not called you a neocon once, which you are, but I haven't said
that's absurd.
Well, I appreciate your taking all this time.
Sure.
And I know you didn't mean it. When you call me those names.
Wow. Come on in here. Tracy Jacobs, our West Coast correspondent, is joining us in a little bit. I can't get over it now. All right. So
the best news that I've heard all in the last couple of days is that MAGA is turning inside of itself and turning on Donald Trump. I think this is for real. I think it's slow to happen.
Yeah.
But I think they have literally, and this whole thing with bringing Iran to heel and maybe going to war with them is going to be the last thing, because it's unacceptable for all of us.
You said this is the beginning of a good thing.
I think it's the beginning of I don't want to get too excited, but I think it's the beginning of a really good thing.
Let's bring in Jolly Good Ginger, who is our chief congressional correspondent in Washington, D.C. as well. You watched this play out, Jolly. What in the world do we do about this? And what is the reaction going from in Washington, D.C.? We got to get a look.
I feel like it's important that we say up front before we say anything else, this does not make Tucker Carlson not a grade A piece of shit, because he's still Tucker Carlson, right? But, you know, a broken clock can be right twice a day. And watching, and you know what it told me? It also told me that all that time that Tucker Carlson was spinning the MAGA, you know, wheel and preaching the MAGA propaganda.
He could be a journalist and he knew better.
What's that?
He could be a journalist and he actually knew better.
Yeah, he knew better. He knew better. Exactly. That's 100% right. And what's funny is when you talk about MAGA turning on itself, so as I've been talking to both senators and members of the House, I've been asking this question more and more. Hey, these Republicans that's been telling you behind closed doors that they don't agree with Trump, or that they don't want to do what he's, you know, or his agenda, do you think they'll now come out and be public about it? And more Congress members feel like some of these Republicans are about to come out and finally state publicly that they don't agree with Donald Trump's agenda. You see, before now, they were saying it behind closed door, but when it came time to vote on the floor, it was get in line, stay in line, and tout the party line. They were worried about Elon Musk money primarying them. Elon Musk money's gone. They were worrying about, you know, MAGA wackadoodles coming to their front door, because let's face it, that's a real threat in this country. You go against Trump, he'll sick his cultist on you. Well, guess what? We're watching that change across the country. Don, I got an interview tomorrow with a guy who voted Trump, very, very outspoken Trump supporter, very big advocate for Trump during the campaign. And he's now been viral all over the internet saying, say what I voted for and I'm out. I'm interviewing him tomorrow. We're seeing this happen more and more and more across the country. So Republicans that have been secretly behind the scenes saying, I'm not with this, but publicly they've kept their mouth shut and do what they're supposed to do, are now on that line of coming in and saying, I don't agree anymore. This isn't it. And I don't want to get everybody's hopes up like that's going to happen overnight. And of course, there could be conversations that happen behind the door. I mean, you know how Washington works. I know how Washington works. People are on board until they're not suddenly, and that's because some closed door sessions happen. But there's hope, is what I'm saying.
Well, here's the thing that I want to know. Look, I think it's all well and good that Tucker Carlson seems to be, you know, saying the right thing for once. Every once in a while, that does happen. Candace Owens saying the right things, but as you said, don't trust them. And doesn't this say something about them? I mean, doesn't it say something about their intelligence? Didn't they know Donald Trump was going to betray or lie?
I think they all know, and they all knew. I feel pretty confident that's whether they were willing to speak up and say what needed to be said. I think people are scared. I think people have been scared, and I think people have not had the balls that it takes to just say, this guy is wrong. You know, the fact that he could be putting us at war in Iran for no reason. And then today I was watching, maybe it was on your show that I was watching it or reading it somewhere, that the reason he takes so long in between these distances, in terms, he keeps saying a 2 weeks spread. It's a 2 week spread. It's because he wants to golf. I
think so?
Oh, I hate to say it. It's so embarrassing, but there's truth to it. Yeah, it's always about the golfing, and it's always about, you know, what he is going to do. And yeah, I think there is truth to it.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, like he left you know, the whatever they call it, the C, what did they call
The
it?
G7 summit
The
in
G7,
Canada.
C7. He just like left, wanted to get back, wanted to play some golf. I mean, it should make you feel, we should all feel really good that our president is taking a serious international war really, really, really seriously to get back to golf, as opposed to really dealing with the matter at hand, which has been truly scary. And, you know,
Yeah.
we're all terrified of it. And, you know, Israel, Iran, I mean, we can't attack Iran. We can't cause a war.
Yeah, but I think also, Jolly, I think it's more than, yeah, obviously he doesn't do his briefings. He's not very good, right?
He never has.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not a hard worker. I mean, he's a hard worker in the sense of promoting himself, right, and getting out there for himself. But he doesn't know what to do. That's why he keeps putting things off. Well, you'll know in a couple of weeks, because there's no decision. He can just keep pushing it down the line so that he doesn't have to do anything. And hopefully, I think he believes the situation will take care of himself, and he can still come out looking like wrong.
You would really think there'd be someone or two people involved in his administration that he would listen to, but he's too arrogant, too stupid to listen.
You know, his first term, Tracy, that was true. He had people there that would say, "Hey,
it's
no.
absolutely true. He will not
put it down." But now he's surrounded by loyalists, and he has such a grip on the party that there's nobody telling him no. But you mentioned the Iran thing, and I think it's important to talk about this briefly. Listen, I'm an Iraq and Afghanistan veteran, and I watched, as many of us did, we all three of us here, and probably 90% of the chat, watched as Iraq played out. We watched the government stand on the world stage and say weapons of mass destruction, and tell us how if we didn't intervene now that the war was going to come to American soil, and off we went into a 20-year engagement that got us nowhere and caused harm to another country that destroyed an entire society, and essentially occupied a country for no reason. And now here we sit again with the weapons of mass destruction propaganda. We got Donald Trump saying that Tulsi Gabbard, his director of national intelligence, isn't right, that she's saying Iran is not enriching its uranium, but he's saying they are. And he's saying he's got a source to tell them they are. He says the intelligence community is wrong.
It's the way he speaks.
Wait. Hey, but both of you, let's play that. I want to hear. This is Candace Owens talking about it, and then we'll hear more. Here it is.
She's a genius too.
Now, the lack of consistency, it is stunning to watch Trump do this. He's all over the place right now on social media. I mean, he initially signaled right away that America had nothing to do with what happened in Iran, that America was not going to get involved, that he was negotiating peace. Then he signaled that he didn't have any idea that the attack was coming, but also that he did know that the attack was coming. And now he's tweeting "we." He's literally using "we" to describe what is happening in Iran right now. Let's just take a look at some of these tweets. We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment, and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. Oh, well, hey, yeah, we've got our planes in the skies. Okay, American troops might die, but USA, 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 because our stuff is so good and good looking in the sky. The big bad American planes are in the sky. Yeah. What does he think? We're stupid?
Well, maybe
online they're trying to pretend that we are the ones betraying Trump for holding him accountable to his promises that he made to.
Maybe he hang on, Jolly. I want to get you just before she talked about that, Jolly. She talked about Tulsi Gabbard, who said in March, who's the director of national intelligence, that they were not there. You mentioned that. And then he said, basically, well, I don't care. I think it is. Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying since 1995 that Iran was on its way within weeks or a day or whatever, a year, to a nuclear weapon or a nuclear type weapon, and none of it has come to fruition. They are both, I believe, playing the American people, but more so than anything, Benjamin Netanyahu is playing Donald Trump.
Oh,
Listen, let Jolly answer.
we're going. First of all, there's like a lot to unpack here. I want to get some context. I was in military intelligence, is what I did. I maintained a top secret clearance for 13 years. I've collected all around the world, et cetera, et cetera. I understand intimately the intelligence community and how intelligence is passed between us and our allies. And so I want to say a couple things. First of all, we're going straight back to our cheating ex just 2 weeks after they cheated on us, because this was, like I say, this was just 2003 that they sat in front of the world and screamed weapons of mass destruction, and that's what they're doing again. Listen, like you mentioned, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi Netanyahu, has been saying this since '95. So it's simply just propaganda. So when Donald Trump says he has a source that's better than the intelligence community, it's Bibi Netanyahu is his source, because Israel is trying to drag us into their war, because Israel has been wanting to go to war with Iran for as long as I can remember. But listen,
Charlie, watch.
Stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb. Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
Didn't he start this administration by talking about how he was going to end all of the wars? So
Yes.
far, you know, we have Ukraine and Russia, and now we have this hideous mess, which could be even worse. And God knows what else there is out there that I'm not even speaking to, but these are the most recent and the most obvious.
John, like when members of the military hear that, right? When veterans hear that, and you've been for that long, what do they say? Are they still buying into this? Because you guys have been listening to this.
You mean buying into
then.
what
Netanyahu says?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, in '95 it was 3 weeks away, and then in 2015 it was 6 months away. Like, come on, dude. Dude. I believe, so in 2003, when I was in the Army and I watched Iraq play out, yeah, we believed it. We believe there's weapons of mass destruction. What reason do I have to not believe my government? We go where we're ordered. We're going to fight the terrorists over there, so don't come here. But hindsight is a beautiful gift. And if we can't look back at 2003, because by the way, we know now that it was a lie. We know that Donald Rumsfeld, sitting in front of the United Nations, showing the evidence of weapons of mass destruction, just simply wasn't true. We know that it was posturing by Saddam Hussein because he was afraid of Iran invading Iraq and all the geopolitics of that region, et cetera, et cetera. We know that, okay? So if we can't now say, we just saw the video evidence of Bibi Netanyahu telling us in 1995 they're 3 to 5 years away. In 2012 they're 6 months away. In 2015 they're 3 weeks away. I don't know how he tells time, but it's 2025, and they haven't had it yet. And I want to remind everybody that there was a president who brought Iran to the negotiating table, who successfully got the IAEA to go into Iran and inspect their nuclear facilities, inspect their enrichment program. There was one president who did it. There was one president who brought all of this down 35 notches and was able to successfully prove that Iran was not enriching their uranium. That was one Barack H. Obama. And as soon as Donald Trump came into office, he overturned the very agreement that Obama made with Iran, thereby creating the situation we're in now.
It was a black president. Sorry, that doesn't count, Jolly.
Well, it doesn't count.
That's what I'm saying.
Silly of you.
That's how dumb of us.
That was a DEI accomplishment.
Yeah. In the meantime, look where we are now.
Look where we are today.
But also remember, guys, Tracy, when he said to about Barack Obama back then that Barack Obama did not know what he was doing, that he was going to start a war with Iran. Do you remember that? Because he didn't know what he was doing. So was he speaking to his future self?
Are you talking about Trump?
Trump said that about Barack Obama.
I think what got Trump started was
No, but he said about Barack Obama that Barack Obama had no idea what he was doing as it relates to Iran, and that he was going to start a war.
I don't remember that specifically,
he said
but
it was on Twitter.
We played it the other day. Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump, if you listen to the real truth, is the reason I mean, Obama's the reason Trump got into this to begin with, which was, you know, he was so angry and that he wanted to win the presidency, and one wasn't.
He was so angry about the White House Correspondents' Dinner that he was ticked off.
That's
but
correct.
Remember the whole birth certificate too thing, because you know that was before, and I think that's why Barack Obama roasted him. But Jolly, thank you, West Coast correspondent. We appreciate it. I think we're not. I don't know if we're going to talk. Washington D.C. anymore, but we're going to.
Well, let me say this before we go, Don. I want to bring one thing to the conversation that needs to be spoken more about.
Yes,
if
sir.
we're talking about threats to America, the number one threat to America, I assure you of this, is not Iran. The number one threat to America is the alienation of our allies, us pissing off the people that we have these alliances with, us losing our intelligence sharing with other countries. Because, oh, by the way, when Ukraine attacked Russia with one of the most advanced drone attacks I've ever seen, it's amazing. United States didn't even know about it. You know what? As a former intel guy, you know what that tells me? That they were not sharing that intelligence with us because they no longer trust us.
I don't think anyone shares their information with us. I think we no longer get shared information.
So this is what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. When we lose our intelligence sharing with our allies, this is very dangerous for America and puts us at a great risk of being blindsided by things happening around the world, because intelligence sharing keeps us safer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jolly, go check out Jolly on his YouTube page. He's got a show just like this. But right now, when he comes on the Don Lemon Show, he is our chief congressional / chief Washington.
Can I make a comment about him? Because I've been watching him, not knowing you at all. I've gotten to know you over the show. This weekend was extraordinary with you, and the group of you were just incredible, gave an incredible show. It was really magical, and I really enjoyed hearing from your perspective and the others. And it was really one of the best shows I've seen on any news network lately.
And that's because, don't you think that's because we actually tell it like it is, and we don't pretend there's some false equivalence and that this is normal? This shit is not normal.
Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's just because people want to hear the real. They just want to hear it. I think we're so sick of hearing, 2 weeks from now. I mean, literally, everything is now 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
I just can't even believe it. But really,
it's because 2 hours later, Donald Trump forgets it, so he hopes that everybody else will.
2 weeks from now, I'm going to forget it. Jolly, I got to run. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Jolly good ginger. Stand by, everyone. Okay, so stand by, Tracy and everyone. Okay. Listen, I need to tell you and take a break to hear a word from our sponsors, because support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/Don Lemon is where you should go. And that is, you guys know how I like to take the stigma off of mental health. Tracy and I talk about it all the time. Yep. There's nothing wrong. There's no shame in admitting that you need some help or going to find it. And it should be convenient. It should be affordable, and it should be accessible. You don't have to go in person. And that's what makes it more convenient, more affordable, and more accessible. That's where BetterHelp can come in right now to help you. Okay. So often seeking out this help can be difficult. Finding the time and the money and therapy can be a barrier. And by the way, let's not forget that June is Men's Mental Health Month. And today, I'm telling you that more than 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every single year, and it often goes undiagnosed. That is where BetterHelp comes in. Okay, it is the world's largest online therapy provider, and it can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. More than 35,000 licensed professionals that they have had more than 10 years experience. And you can change therapists at any time. Convenient, accessible, affordable. Okay? So talk it out with BetterHelp. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Don Lemon, betterhelp.com/Don Lemon. Thank you so much to our sponsors. We appreciate all of them. Okay, here we go with our West Coast correspondent. I want to talk to you about this story. And this is, if you look at, this is the report from ABC and Tyler Perry. Play it, please.
Tyler
Tyler Perry tonight facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit by an actor who claims years of sexual harassment. The lawsuit, asking for $260 million, was filed by actor Derek Dixon, who was part of the BET series The Oval. The complaint says Perry has been using his power to, among other things, sexually assaulting impressionable and vulnerable employees and actors. Perry's lawyer released a statement tonight saying he will not be shaken down and called them fabricated claims of harassment.
This has been one of the highest rated shows that we have done on the networks. It is everywhere. Everyone is reporting on this. I got to tell you, I'm very skeptical of this story. And
well, any of us, I mean, I know Tyler. I've known him for years. You know him. It seems highly unbelievable. But you know, again, we just don't know. And you know, it's if it's not true, which I hope it's not, it's a terrible story and, you know, life-changing.
In the court of public opinion, though, most people say it's not adding up. And whatever this person is claiming, look, again, we don't know. It's $260 million is a lot for something that doesn't even seem that it was consummated, so to speak. And there was no actual, you know, let's say, action or any that happened except for alleged, you know, rubbing of the leg or whatever. And we don't know, again. And it's easy, by the way, it's easy to accuse someone of something. And anyone can file a lawsuit, but it's innocent until proven guilty is what I'll say.
Well, I think it's unusual to find it from a male to male perspective like this. This doesn't seem to be your usual situation here. I have no idea if it's true. I really hope it's not true. Mm-hmm. Tyler has been a stand-up person. That's my feeling about him. He is, you know, takes care of a lot of people in Atlanta, built an entire studio, did some really tremendous things for people, built an entire business community, which meant something. Yeah. So I'd like to believe it's not true, but that's my personal belief.
That's what I said. That's my personal belief. But again, you know, we shall see. Now, this one, I just want to play a little bit of it. I don't know if you saw the controversy. I guess it was controversial. What happened with Whoopi, the conversation that they had on The View. Did you happen to see that?
I saw a little bit. You could play
Let's play a little bit of it, and then we'll talk about it. Here it is.
And it's slow.
But let's just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
Where the Iranian regime is today in 2025 is nothing compared to the United States.
Keep hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I couldn't step foot during this.
Wait. That's not what you mean to say. It is the same.
No, it's not. The year 2025 in the United States is nothing like if I step foot wearing this outfit in Toronto and killed for
I'm sorry.
No, I can't have my hair showing. I can't wear a skirt. I can't have my arms out.
I'm telling you,
I literally said it was up to the Iranian people.
Yes,
it is up to them.
And that's why I am saying that it is the same. Murdering someone for their difference is not good. Whoever does it, it's not good. So that's why I said you weren't saying what I heard was not what you meant.
I think it's very different to live in the United States in 2025 than it is to live in Iran.
Not if you're black.
Not for everybody.
Not if you're black.
Guys, don't go to Tehran. Do not anyone at this table should go to Tehran.
Let me tell you about being in this country. This is the greatest country in the world. But yeah, I know that. And we all know that. But every day we are worried. Do we have to be worried about our kids? Are our kids going to get shot because they're running through somebody's neighborhood? They are not big deals, and I don't mean to say they're not big deals to you, because that's not what I meant.
And they are not doing well there either. They are not doing well in Iran. They are not educated. They cannot have property. They cannot leave things.
I'm talking about here.
Nobody wants to diminish the very real problems we have in this country. That is no one's intent. But I think it's important we remember there are places much darker than this country and people who deserve rights.
Not everybody feels that way. Not everybody feels that way. Listen, I'm sorry. You know, when you think about the fact that we got the vote in 1965.
Okay, they don't have free and fair elections in Iran. It's not even the same universe.
They can't go out of their house. The women. You know what? There's no way I can make you understand.
Let me try something. It's like try to reverse roles with a black person in this country, let's say, because I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Just try to understand from their point of view. From that point of view, this country does not do them well. Does not go for them.
I completely acknowledge that.
And we shouldn't compare atrocities.
If you're talking about Iran, of course, is doing worse things. But relatively speaking, it feels bad.
Okay, but I think you know that Iran is significantly
I guess we're going to come
Okay,
back.
we have it. Okay, so when they talk about not in all parts of Iran that women need to be covered. But look, it's a bad place for women, and we know that it's an interesting conversation. But just what you're saying that about the literacy rate, and especially there's a high literacy rate, in Iran for people in general and for women. The literacy rate for it says Iran has a high literacy rate, particularly among its youth, while the overall literacy rate for those 15 and older is around 85%. The youth literacy rate, ages 15 to 24, is significantly higher, reaching 96.3%. The literacy rate in the United States, remember that was 85 and 90-some%, is approximately 79% for adults in the United States.
Here's the thing: you wouldn't want to live in Iran.
Yes, but I understand the point that the women were. Amen, 100%.
It would be very difficult. I do think there are scenarios which are analogous here, but you still would not want to live in Iran. As Whoopi said, this is the greatest country in the world. I would rather live here, but I'm saying if you're going to talk about it, then you should be giving the real truth, because folks who are Iranian and who are Muslim and who live there, I think there's a stigma that goes along with it. We know it's horrible. We know it's not a democracy, but there are some things that if you live in the United States and our literacy rate is lower than Iran, and Iran is such a horrible place to live, that says a lot about us and about maybe demographics or groups that we are not aware of, that you do not encounter on a daily basis, who are not living the kind of life that you may be living, and you're thinking everything is great and okay, when there are Black people or Latino people or brown people or even women living in parts of this country in certain areas that are not doing so well, that may be comparable to certain situations in Iran. It's not apples to apples, but I think you understand what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying, and I understood what Whoopi was saying. I think that of all the places on earth I wouldn't want to live, Iran would be one of them.
Iran, Gaza
would be another one. And, it just pains me to see all the pain between Gaza, Hamas, Israel, Iran now, Russia, Ukraine, and bombing each other and droning each other and killing people. And, that was the one thing Trump promised. He said, I'm going to stop all wars.
Yeah. I care about Muslim lives.
I care about Muslim lives, which we all knew was patently untrue.
Yeah.
But, look, we are where we are. The good news is, I think what Jolly was saying before and what you and I were saying, I think something is definitely occurring in this country right now. I think so much bad stuff has gone on since Trump has been in the wheel turner, that I think a lot of people may open up and say that this is too much now. This is too much.
And it looks like maybe some of the folks, maybe the Tucker Carlsons and the Candace Owens of the world, are saying this is too much in a different way, because they're saying, guess what? He's not abiding by the promises, at least, that he made to us during this. So we'll see.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
And by the way, and when we say we wouldn't want to live in Iran or we wouldn't want to live in Gaza, not for the people.
It's not about the people.
It's for the leadership and the people who are in charge, who make it not such an enticing place to live. So, hey, West Coast correspondent, we're in the same room.
I know.
On the West Coast.
We're in.
Guess where we are? Can we tell them where we are?
Yeah, no one's going to ever know.
No, we can't tell you where you live. She lives in a celebrity neighborhood. But anyways, we're in.
Yeah, we can't.
We can't say that. We're at Tracy's. I'm in Tracy's guest house.
Yeah.
Very fancy.
It's not fancy. Actually, it's comfortable, and he likes staying here. He said to me last night, "Well, I can stay at a hotel," and I said, "Yeah, but you can stay here. It's cozy. The bed is comfortable. Your sheets are cleaned. Everything is clean. There's food for you.
Whatever.
Did you eat the sushi?
I did. I ate most of the sushi, and I had an Advil because I'm not feeling well. But also, Tracy, tell how you've been talking about our show and how it's growing. You talked about the show over the weekend. Can you imagine how much that would have taken for a network to do that show?
I have to tell you, again, the news network, to me, I've only gotten familiar with it in the last like 7 years because of Don. And that was at CNN. And that's because I was just a genuine fan. And watching it last weekend with Jolly, with Joy Reid, who I adore, Jim Acosta, you, and
Reese Colbert, Clay Kane.
It was incredible. I mean, it was real people talking about real issues happening that weekend. And it made me feel good to hear that people actually, got out in the streets, which is what Jim Acosta was out on the streets. Who was out? And
Jolly was out on the street, and we had
great.
Tara Palmieri was out on the street.
I adore
Tara Setmeyer.
I got to know her. I adore her. I just thought it was a great group of some of my favorite people who I read. Yeah. Either I read their where they
on Substack
and read them, and I watch them on YouTube or wherever else I can. So I'm familiar with all of them now.
Yeah.
And it's it's exciting to watch this thing kind of blow up and explode into all the right ways.
Yeah.
Where, the real people get to tell the real truth about what's happening.
And that's because this is your community, and seriously, I think about everything. I think about you guys. I have you guys in mind because it's not just my channel. It is it's your community, and we're building it. And look, you should hear what folks say about us. And I just want to say, I have never been so proud, and I've said this before, of my team. So a big round of applause, Nikki and Andy, and getting this show on the road.
And they're great.
Our team produced that.
I've gotten to know them. They're terrific.
Yeah, I mean,
and you need that. You can't do this on your own. I don't want to say it too
Don't blow their smoke. Don't blow smoke.
No. Keep going. Keep going.
Nikki, Andy, I don't want to get you too excited because he'll kill me afterwards. But it takes a group to make a group.
Yeah.
And it really takes a good team of people to make a better team of people even better.
Yeah.
It's just never about one person. One person can't do it on their own.
And you know how, Tracy, remember when I started and everyone was like, you got to get some merch. We want some t-shirts. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. Well, guess what? We have merch because you guys wanted it. You guys,
and guess what I said to people? I said to him, I like everything except get rid of the fan. So I read them. The fan is the biggest.
It's the biggest seller
there is, and I was like, get rid of it.
Yeah, she asked me. She said,
get rid of it.
Which one? I said, here's it was just the test thing where we could go in and look. And I said, what do you like? And she said, I like everything but the fan. The number one seller is the fan.
How stupid did I feel?
It's the thing with boots on the ground. Everyone loves their fan.
But you should wear it because I'm going to wear it because it makes you feel like you're a part of a community, because that's what this is.
Yeah.
Is a community
that
supports the whole thing.
The whole kit and caboodle.
Supports the whole kit and caboodle every morning, every afternoon.
Yeah.
All of the people Don gets to speak to, which are an incredible group. I always learn more about people I didn't know about.
Nikki, get donlemon.com up. Sorry, go on.
And I'm always excited to hear people I've either read before but never seen, and like Joy Reid, thrilled that she is doing this, thrilled that Jim Acosta is doing it, thrilled that Don is doing it.
You see right there, you can go where it says merch, you can go and you can watch. And if you go click on where it says watch, if you go on the watch page, right, click on there, Nikki. If you go on the watch page, if it'll do it, it won't do it here. And it'll take you to the show page. So this is our show page right here on YouTube. And then if you go, on mine, go over to shop, I think, a store. And then if you go over to store right there.
How well are you doing with all of this
It's
stuff?
doing great. I was shocked. And so and there you go, and you can go to the store or go over if you go back to donlemon.com, if you go backwards, back to donlemon.com.
Well, when you told me that
and you can click on merch right here.
That's a great sign that people are watching and enthused.
Right to the merch, and then go back again. If you back up again, This is on donlemon.com. If you go over to Substack, it'll take you right to our Substack, and we should see ourselves on there. If you click on Substack, click on there. It may be a little bit weird. Will it take us there? If you go on Substack, it has that. And then, yeah, there's a Substack. But if you, in some places, there we go. You can see us live. There we go. Keep going down. That's us live on the Substack right now.
Wow.
See, yeah, isn't that cool?
Very
and so back
nice.
out of it. So we have our donlemon.com up and working thanks to Nikki and Tim, who have been working on this. And of course, you can go over here to where we stream. You can go on Apple Podcasts. You can go on Spotify.
Yeah, putting a
and you
show
can go
together.
on iHeartRadio.
I want to speak about that. Putting a show together is no easy thing. It requires a lot of work behind Don. What Don makes it seem easy, he only makes it seem easy because he has good people behind him.
Yeah.
So just know that it's a real team group effort.
Yeah.
So you have to support
You've
that.
got to go on, make sure you hit the thumbs up to the like. And if you're watching us on the TikTok, smash the screen. Thank you for the galaxy on TikTok. By the way, I think it was Lux and Stone who did it. Yeah, Lux and Stone sent the galaxy. Thank you so much. And if you're watching us on Instagram and Facebook, thank you. Make sure you hit the thing as well. And if you're watching us right here on YouTube, you can subscribe and you can also become a member of our YouTube channel. I think it's very affordable. Is there a join? We need a join button. Can we put a join button on our website, Nikki? Can't you go on the website and click on watch and then go to join? Is that correct? Let's test.
We should be able to.
Yeah, let's check it out. So go on to the donlemon.com. If you want to know how to join, go to donlemon.com, click it, and then go on watch. If you hit watch, and then there should be a join button, right? Somewhere there. Is it on there? Customized channel join. If you click
for other people. So I am logged in.
So you're already joined. What happens if you click on my face, though? Let's see if you click on my face, what happens? That's usually how. Okay, click on the face. Oh no, that's your thing. Channel customization. No, that's Nikki. Nikki's got the behind the scenes thing. Do not show him that, Nikki. Are you switching accounts? Okay. So if you switch accounts, oh, there you go. There's a join button. So on yours, you see where the join is? Click on that right next to subscribe, Nikki. And then that's an easy way for them to join now, all on donlemon.com. And you can join. You can become a member there as well. Ta-da!
Well, I'm sorry I didn't talk about too much Hollywood. It just didn't seem like there was.
We talked some Hollywood.
A little. I mean, there's usually more to talk about, but it feels to me like I just want to talk about the enthusiasm I'm feeling about the possibility for some changes. Slow. I don't want anyone to think it's like, oh my God, everything's changing. But I actually do feel it. I'm feeling that way given the court rulings for Trump. Not enough, but, we still have the Supreme Court to deal with. But let's see where we end up going with all the schools and let's think positively.
T2, welcome to the Elimination. Thank you so much. Also, 1971 Black, welcome to the Elimination. So glad that you are a member, and we want to welcome all of our new members. And just so you know, why am I in LA hanging out with this lady, Carol Jones as well? Welcome to the Elimination. Carol Jones, because of your generosity, Carol's generosity, 10 people get to become members of the Elimination. Wow. Thank you, Carol Jones. Big round of applause.
I don't even know how long. When do you leave?
Oh, for you, I won't tell you. Don't tell the people because you never know. And this is why I'm here. So let's show why I'm here, Nikki. I'm here because I'm getting an award tonight along with Kiki Palmer and others. It is the Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards, and they are because of this very channel and what we're doing in our community. We're getting an award. So this award will be shared by all of you. Okay, I will share this award with all.
And what time is that at?
That's tonight.
You're not.
I'm not telling you. No, that's tonight at 7:30.
Are you staying longer than Saturday?
No, I'm not. I'm going to go back. All right. So everybody, look, thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate it. Welcome to all of our members. Thank you for those who gifted memberships. Thank you to Maureen Marthel. Because of Maureen's generosity, 10 people get to become members of the Elimination. Thank you, Maureen. Also, Tracy Pretty. Thank you. Love me some Don Lemon and the Elimination. Thank you, guys. Okay. So as I always say, you can be informed without being inundated. You don't have to sit in front of the television all day. You don't have to check every single alert. You can turn them off. And you know what else you can do until we see you at 10 a.m. Eastern time for sure on Monday morning. You're going to have a great weekend. But until we see you then, turn the TV off.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.